Okay, we're gonna do 1.3 today, which is solving equations with variables on both sides. And we've actually seen a couple examples of this, but we're just kind of making it a little bit more difficult of equations and involving a lot of fractions here. So we are gonna start with number one, where if you notice, there's a lot going on here, and we're gonna end up combining like terms to start on the left. So 3 plus 4x is 7x, and we're gonna leave that alone. And then on the right side, we have this -2 to distribute. And keep in mind, you're only distributing it to the parentheses, not to the positive 9. So we have -2x plus 8 plus 9. On the right, we can combine these two as well. And when I do that, I'm also going to add 2x to the other side. So we now have 9x minus 10 equals 8 plus 9, which is 17. Add 10. 9x is 27. And divide by 9, x is 3. Again, just like anytime you solve equations, you could plug it in to check your answer. On number 2, keep in mind with any of these that we do, we actually can solve it multiple different ways and still get the same answer. Right now, I want to get us used to recognizing that there's a fraction, okay? Whenever there's a fraction, what you can do to get rid of the denominator, which is what I'm going to do like all the time instead of working with fractions, is you can multiply by the least common multiple, the denominator essentially. We just need to multiply by a number that will help get rid of the denominator. So in this case, if I multiply 1/2 by 2, it goes away, right? It gives me 1. The thing is, though, you have to multiply every single thing, but that's not including to distribute it into the parentheses that are in there, okay? So you multiply the 2 times the 1/2, which gives me 1. And the 2 times the -7, which is -14. 2 times -2 is -4, and 2 times 12. We can start cleaning it up. So we have n minus 18 over here because the -4 and -14, and it equals -4n plus 12. I would then add 4n to get 5n minus 18 equals 12. Add 18. Move it up here. We have 5n equals 30. Divide by 5, and n equals 6. Going away from fractions again, looking at number 3. On the left side, nothing needs to happen just yet. On the right, distribute. So we have 6x plus 8. If you notice, when I subtract 6x to the other side, it ends up canceling on both sides, and we're left with -5 equals 8. Because my variable is gone, there's nothing left to solve for, so we look at this statement, -5 equals 8, and we think, is that true? Well, no, -5 doesn't equal 8, so our answer is no solution. Okay, now you can write out the words no solution, or you can use the symbol that I boxed here, which is what I will use whenever I have no solution. Looking at number 4, this one has more than one fraction. So we have 1/3 and 1/2. What I'm going to do is multiply by a number that gets rid of both the 3 and the 2. So I'm going to multiply by 6. When I multiply 6 times 1/3, it really is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Remember, we do not put it inside any parentheses. Then we need 6 times 9, which is 54. Keep going to do 6 times 1/2, or 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Keep the parentheses the same. And then we need the 6 times the 4, which is 24. At this point now, I'm just distributing a 2 and a 3 instead of a 1/3 and a 1/2. So now we have 2D plus 8 plus 54, and 18 minus 3D plus 24. Combine like terms, we get 2D plus 64. And then we end up getting 42 minus 3D. If I add 3D to the other side, I get 5D. Oh, that would be 54. 5D. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract 64 at the same time, which would end up giving me negative 22. Divide by 5, and D equals negative 22 over 5. Number 5, we would do the same thing and distribute the 2. The left side does not need to change at all yet, so we have 4x plus 6. When we distribute the 2, we get 4x plus 6. And if you notice, these things are the same, right? If we subtract 4x and our x's cancel like they did in number 3, you'd be left with 6 equals 6. My answer is not no solution because 6 does equal 6, right? Since that's a true statement, our answer is infinitely many or all reals. Okay, you could also write down all reals. Okay, whatever you want to use. Okay, that means no matter what number we plug in for x, we would end up getting a correct statement, a true statement. At this time, I'd like for you to try these two on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and then check back with me when you're done. At this point, hopefully you got through these two problems. I'm going to quickly go over them. So you would distribute the 50 and you would distribute the negative 4. On this side, it would be 25x minus 100 equals negative 4x minus 10, and then minus x. If you combine these x's, you get negative 5, and then I'm going to move it over by adding 5. So we get 30x minus 100 equals negative 10. That would make 30x equal 90, and x equal 3. On the next one, I am going to multiply everything by 8 first. Okay, well, actually, no. I want to do this first, and I want to distribute the 6. So we have 6d minus 6 plus 1, which really is 6d minus 5. I just wanted to clean that up a little bit. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. So this side, it goes away. We're left with 5 times 16d plus 24. And then on the right side, we have 48d minus 40. Distribute the 5. We have 80d plus 120 equals 48d minus 40. If we move the d's to the left, we would get 32d. And if we subtract 120, we would end up with negative 160. And then when you divide 160 by 32, you get 5, a negative 5. So hopefully we got those ones right. If we didn't, hopefully we saw a way to get the correct answer. We're going to move on to a couple word problems. So it says Cameron pays 95 cents per song with his current music service. Okay, most of you probably don't know what it's like to buy your music, but I do because I'm old. A new music download service charges 89 cents per song with a $12 joining fee. Should Cameron switch to a new service? So first thing we're going to do is put an equation together. The first one is 95 cents per song. The second one is 89 cents with $12 start. So I would subtract 89 cents and get 0.06x equals 12, and divide by 0.06 to get 200. Okay, so we're talking 200 songs is when they match. So Cameron should switch if he's going to download over 200 songs. Because after the 200 songs, 89 cents per song is going to be cheaper than 85 cents. The next one says the table shows the rates of 2 taxi services. How many miles do you need to travel for taxi 2 to be a better deal? So this is very similar to the last one. Taxi 1 has an initial fee of $2.75 and then $2 per mile. Taxi 2 has $4.50, but then only $1.75 per mile. So if I want to solve, I would subtract 175, not 17.5, and have 2.75 plus 0.25x equals 4. Then if I subtract 0.75, I'm left with 0.25x equals 1.75. And if you divide by 0.25, you get 7. So that means after 7 miles, taxi 2 would be a better deal. All right, we have one last problem. Lenny makes $55,000 and is getting annual raises of $2,500. Carl makes $62,000 with annual raises of $2,000. How many years will it take for Lenny and Carl to make the same salary? So Lenny is 55,000 plus 2,500 x, and Carl is 62,000 plus 2,000 years. 2,000 times the number of years, I mean. So to solve for x, I'm going to do this in one step here. I'm going to subtract 2,000, and then I'm also going to subtract 55,000 to the other side. So these cancel, and you're left with 500x equals 7,000. Divide by 500, and x is 14. So it would take 14 years for them to match.